Welcome again. Welcome again to Safety Short Series. Now, this is the 22nd video of the series, and today's topic is a very important topic, and that is about effective safety committee meeting. How to effectively conduct the safety committee meeting. The last several decades have seen major improvements in many aspects of occupational health. Now, these were possible due to progressive development of occupational health legislation, development of infrastructure for occupational medicine and hygiene, chemistry, and material science. Wide introduction of automation, with the introduction of automation and ergonomic principle, board application and hazard control techniques and establishment of risk management system and improved typical cooperation and substantial achievement in work organization has there has been a reasonable amount of improvement in all organizations. A growing number of countries now recognize that healthy workforce is a prerequisite for the achievement of sustainable development, and that improved working condition and working environment are a measure of the success of economic and social policy. A structured legislative framework for occupational health and safety is today being built in many countries. There are an increasing number of national and international government, non-governmental organizations, influential potential, professional bodies and associations, employers and workers organization, education and research institution operating in the field of occupational health. Now, each has its own mandate and particular mission, but all have the same aim of contributing to the reduction of occupational injury and disease caused by work. The momentum is gathering because of these significant changes, which continues to grow. Now, let's just see. So basically, in the developing countries, workers are, heavily exposed to occupational hazards in small scale industry, primary extraction industry, and heavy manufacturing. Poor equipment and high risk of occupational injury, heavy physical work, and often combined with heat stress, exposure to mineral and organic dust and pesticide poisoning all take their toll on the workers' health and safety. In many of these countries, the infrastructure of occupational health service is underdeveloped, and the majority of the workforce is employed in small scale industries and agriculture, often being out of reach of preventive activities. Now, in industrialized countries, the overall workload has lessened by decreased working hours. The favorable trend pertain to a physical working condition, that is noise, vibration, dangerous work and exposure to toxic substances, shocks and heavy physical work, as well as labor relation and working condition in general. The unfavorable trend are mainly related to the work stress, such as pace of work, time pressure, shift work, mentally demanding work, and inadequate level of knowledge and education with regards to job content in a rapidly changing working environment. Now, today, approximately 30 to 50% of the workers in the industrialized countries complain about psychological stress and overload. Such psychological factors are associated with the stress reactions, depression, job dissatisfaction, and absence of physical and mental well-being, as well as elevated risk of cardiovascular diseases and particularly, hypertension. The high economic growth in these countries have demonstrated a favorable effect on a quality of working life and working environment in general. At the same time, it has also led to a considerable increase in psychological stresses at work. Now, mental stress, repeatedly strain injuries, musculoskeletal disorders, and have given rise to new hazards with the introduction of new technologies which may not be easily identifiable. Correct. Now, quite apart from human aspects, including considering suffering caused by workers and their families, the economic and social consequences are enormous. The they payments made each year as direct consequence or work accidents and occupational disease throughout the world are enormous, representing a total economic loss which amounts to up to 4% of world GDP. According to World Bank, this is estimated two-thirds of work lost due to occupational injuries and disease could be saved through successful implementation of occupational safety and health program. Now, when we say health and safety program, so one of them is also, when we say safety committee. So forming a safety committee is also part of occupational health and safety program. Now, when we say safety committee, this also is part of occupational safety and health program, playing a crucial role. Let's talk about rules for safety committee meeting. Now, participation, say you have 20 or fewer employees, you must have at least 2 members. If you have more than 20 employees, you must have at least 4 members. This is basically based on organization size. No matter how small occupational safety and health is, no matter how small your organization is, but occupational health and safety and health is a stepping stone in building a sustainable safety organization. This not only helps organization keeping things in check, but are responsible sometimes in contributing greater benefits to the organizational growth. So you have an equal number of employer selected members and employee elected volunteer members. So how you will form a safety committee? You will have equal selected members, employer selected members, and employee elected volunteer members. If both parties agrees, the committee may have more employee elected or volunteer members. Correct. Now, the safety committee member must first have a majority agreement on a chairperson. That is a person who leads or gives conclusive task and target work. Here you can use the SMART technique, that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time bound task. Now the second point is serves a minimum 1 year when possible. So whenever you form a safety committee, it should at least and you have to keep on changing it. So each time, for better contribution, keep on changing people. This majorly contributes to employee participation and generates a feeling of every voice is heard. Now the third point is compensate. You have to compensate at their regular rate of pay, or maybe sometimes additional. So sometimes if such meetings are held on holidays, these meetings should be paid as extra time or paid for people with will be and obviously if you put any effort or always bring interest that okay, if you are attending this, you will be paid extra. So people, the contribution, when it comes to when there is some financials attached to it, so the contributions automatically come. So okay, we are given a chance, so we have to contribute, correct, because the financials are attached to it. So not that we are just here for the snack. So contribution to be there. Now have training in principle of accident and incident investigation. Now most meeting miss the point of discussion. That is, if any accidents have happened related to the safety and concern, that should not repeat. So did you plan the training for the same? You have to plan that. What you have to do, if any incident has happened, you have to just list it down, why it happened, list down the content that okay, what type of training should be given, what should be the training elements. So whenever any accident or incident is happening repeatedly, and if it is highlighted in the safety committee, jotted down points on the training element should be there, and that training should be delivered. Now have training in hazard identification. Suppose if there is no accident or incident investigation done, so and nothing has happened, so what should you do? So you should consider your high risk activities, your high risk areas, and you have to select the topic from there, do the discussion, discuss the training elements, and site specific training to be scheduled. And every month you should always have this kind of training, and these trainings can be by third party, internal, or anyone, but this should be customized training programs. So it is much more required to have customized training programs, because every site is different. People are different, so they have their different problems. And when you specifically give training after discussing the problems, it is be always more effective. Correct. Now next comes be provide with minutes of meeting. Now minutes of meeting, mostly what we have seen is that minutes of meeting are only piece of papers and it is being filed. Don't do that. Make people aware of it. So minutes of meeting, post meeting, to be informed to all that people, and people should know that their points are communicated to the management and discussions are done, and targeted frameworks are also given so that their demands will be fulfilled, or what demands are fulfilled and what demands are not fulfilled. So here when you have voluntary or employee participation increasing, so there people will know whether their point was communicated or not, whether the representative was able to communicate their point or not. So that should also come to light, and only then people will be contributing, because if they don't contribute, then why did you go to the meeting? Correct. So they should not be there for just for the snacks, but they should also be part of the communication and the framework of contributing to the greater good. Correct. Now represent major activities of your business. Now high risk activities, now this is all done. So when you conclude it, you have to always make sure that all high risk activity of your business to be part of discussion, if it is going to happen, or if it is happening regularly. So it is to be discussed, and if at all people are facing some more trouble there, that should be addressed and that should be noted, and possible solution or alternate means that how we can improve, that should be discussed. Now your safety committee must meet on company time. How often? This is also a question. So quarterly is situation where employee do mostly office work, and monthly for all other situation except the month when quarterly work site inspections are performed. So quarterly, what you have to do, you have to quarterly perform the site inspection and then have the meeting, and every month you should have a general meeting, or at the time if any incident or anything has happened, so that is an immediate thing. So the safety committee should meet that often. So every month the participation should always be there, so that the timeline and everything can be lined up. Now you must keep a written record of each safety committee meeting for 3 years. That includes, first you should have the name of the attending, meeting date, all safety and health issues discussed, including tools, equipment, work environment, and work practice hazards that are being discussed there. So you should categorize them and you should note it down like that. Recommendation for corrective action and reasonable dates by which the management agrees to respond, and person responsible for following up on any recommended corrective action. Now all report, evaluation and recommendation made by the committee should be also noted there. Now comes the second point, and that is we occasionally hear confusion about what constitutes a safety meeting versus safety committee meeting. Now there is a difference. A safety meeting, also called as tailgate or toolbox meeting, includes some or all employees and usually a management person to ensure that important safety issues are addressed. The primary reason for the meeting is to update employee on safety policy, procedure, rules, and expectations for the day. However, the safety meeting may also include general instruction and training. Now, the safety committee meeting, on the other hand, is conducted for a formal, structured group of individuals who meet regularly to conduct safety related business, such as discussing the result of safety inspection, investigation, considering safety suggestions, and conducting safety committee training, deciding the meeting conducting safety committee training, deciding the meeting gives everyone a voice but keeps the meeting size to an effective number of participants. So this is the difference between safety meeting and safety committee meeting. Now, if asked, say in an interview or in general, what is the primary purpose of safety committee meeting? The answer should be that it is going to be a goal statement. Basically, your answer will be a goal statement that says to bring management and labor together to identify hazard and make a recommendation for improvement. So this concludes it. So what is the purpose? The answer is very simple. Bring management and labor together and identify hazards and make a recommendation and improvements. That's all. So this is primary purpose of safety committee meeting. Now, how well meeting actually functions depends upon the success of its activity. For example, if asked, suppose you have been asked that how well is the safety committee meeting functioning to help identify hazards and make recommendation. The answer would be, describe me. The answer would be that when you describe the activity and how effectively they are, you need to figure out how meeting can help your business fulfill the expectation of that role. Correct? Now, achieving the purpose of safety committee meeting is dependent on how well they operate. For example, suppose safety committee intends to fulfill their purpose as an internal consultant group to do a design and perform, activity to identify hazards and make recommendation. If, however, the activity are involuntarily designed and performed poorly, result may be malfunction, failing to achieve their intended purpose. Hence, we can say the road to failure is paved with good intention. For the intention was not bad, but decision were. But one must understand what function or system is applicable for you and best suits for you as per site condition and process demand. If the safety committee is able to effectively accomplish its purpose, it can serve as a catalyst to improve the safety management system and transform the safety culture as well. Now let's see how safety committee meeting can help do that. So the very first point that comes to our mind is meeting brings management and labor together. This was our purpose, correct, core purpose. Now management and labor must be talking to each other. The more they talk to each other, the more they understand each other. Why it is important to talk? Think about this. Think about one thing, that if you keep people in dark, they think worst of you, correct? So that means if things are hidden from them. So if management and labor are not talking, they will be thinking worst about each other, correct? So it is, rather than blaming each other, it is always better to sit and talk about it. Now the meeting naturally promotes trust. Now it builds a cooperative working relationship between management and labor. It's essential that safety committee build trust between the labor and management to achieve the two operational quality. The employer must drive out fear of workplace. Now increase cooperation and not competition. So what you have to do is you have to increase the cooperation, not competition. Oh, you are competing with each other. No, don't do that. Now between management, the competition is between whom? So primarily the cooperation should all increase between management and labor, not the competition. So the labor should not be competing with the management, and management should not be competing with the labor. And this plays a crucial role, as a goal in every action the safety committee takes. Now, meeting adopts ideas for improvement. It can be a place to design and implement ideas and activities that can increase employee awareness, improve attitude, and make improvements in operation as well as safety. And finally, the meeting promotes, continuous improvement. Now, meeting is important in each phase. The meeting is important in each phase of PDCA cycle. Now, what is PDCA? Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, and act process cycle. So, hope we were able to give you as much information on effective, safety meeting. Thank you everyone for your support. Like I said, Safety Short is a Like I said, Safety Shorts is a series focusing on short safety videos. We'll keep posting more such videos. Keep liking, keep sharing, and do not forget to subscribe our channel for our motivation. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.